Welcome to the State Aviation Journal Video Focus, featuring Director of the Colorado Division of Aeronautics and NASAO's 2023 Chair, David Ulane. This production is brought to you by Applied Pavement Technology, bringing you tomorrow's pavement evaluation and management tools today. Welcome to the State Aviation Journal's Video Focus, and today we have David Ulane. He's the Director of the Colorado Division of Aeronautics. Dave, thanks for being with us today. Why don't we go ahead and get started? Tell us a little bit about your career path and how that led you into where you are today.
Man, Sean, I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and thanks to Kim and State Aviation Journal for doing this series. It's really cool to do this. But, so for me, I'm a kid, like a lot of the kids in our industry, got hooked on aviation very young and was really lucky to parlay that into an airport management career, starting at Centennial Airport, just like you and a bunch of the other folks on our team, and spent a lot of my life before the division in airport management. Worked at Centennial here in Denver, Cody, Wyoming, St. George, Utah, and Aspen. Just had a great time in the airport management world. But I think, what was really cool, an opportunity for me was right before coming to the division in 2015, was spending a few years with the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association doing state and local government affairs for AOPA and really helping support aviation at the grassroots level in the Pacific Northwest.
So Dave, a lot's been going on in Colorado here. We have a lot of things that are going on with the Colorado Division of Aeronautics. How is it that we are able to do that kind of work with such a small team?
I think, Sean, what's really cool for us is the way our division is structured and governed, actually. Even though we're part of our state Department of Transportation, the way we operate and the way we're governed really makes us like our own individual department. In our case, we report to our own state aeronautical board that's appointed by the governor. And what really makes us, I think, totally efficient and very lean is that structure that if we want to do something cool, we go to our board. That's the group that has the discretion over our policy and our funding and what we work on. Not a lot of bureaucracy. It really allows us to be nimble and responsive and take advantage of opportunities the way we can. And kudos to those legislators, former Governor Roy Romer, who was a general aviation pilot himself, that had that foresight, back 35 years ago to set up our division the way that we are. It really allows us to be successful from a structural standpoint.
So Dave, the aviation industry is really transforming into some new technology, new ways to commute and power aircraft. And talk about a little bit about what those are and how Colorado is trying to stay ahead of the wave and be ready for this technology when it becomes available.
Man, that's a great question, I think. And one of the things that's really cool as a director and here with our team is we've got a reputation in Colorado of being first on so many fronts in the aviation world, and we really want to continue to parlay that. I think for me personally, look, I'm convinced that the next 10 years in our industry are going to be more profound than when the commercial jet aircraft entered service in the late 1950s. Way back then, those aircraft demanded new infrastructure improvements, new airspace, new policy, new environmental standards, and we're on the cusp of something really cool with that going forward. Battery electric technology, hydrogen hybrid technology, sustainable aviation fuel, all of these new technologies, Sean, are really going to change our aviation industry for the better. They're going to make it cleaner, more sustainable, more cost effective. That's going to open up new transportation opportunities for people that maybe don't have the opportunity to fly on aircraft today. And from our perspective at our division, we and our board really want to see how we can leverage that new technology in Colorado and help people be able to move around more equitably and more efficiently and more cost effectively. So in our case, what we're working on is a very cool partnership with the National Renewable Energy Lab here in Colorado, who's going to partner with NASA, of all people. I never in a million years could have imagined in my career I'd get to work with NASA, but they're going to kick off a study in 2023 to help us figure out how do Coloradans move about our state, whether it's by road, transit, airplane, bus, train, whatever mode, and how might we align these cool new technologies with the way people want to move and figure out where those go, and how do we use this cool system of 76 public use airports that we have today to take advantage of this cool new technology, whether it's a 6-seat battery electric airplane, whether it's a hydrogen hybrid commuter aircraft, or whether it's a narrow body or larger aircraft like Southwest or United Fly using sustainable aviation fuel. How can we enable and support that new technology here in Colorado? And again, make sure in the end, aviation is accessible, it's equitable, and it's sustainable, and it serves the needs of all of the Coloradan residents that we have.
All right, now let's look on a wider scale of that. And you talked about Colorado being more of an innovator and a pioneer in a lot of these technologies. Talk about the vision of that, and is there an element of that vision that is going to kind of create the blueprint and the path for other states to follow when it comes time for them to really look into these technologies?
Sean, man, I really hope so. You know, every state certainly does not operate in a vacuum, and you know, air commerce is by far probably the most interconnected mode of transportation we have in the world, really. And so what we're kind of hoping to do here in Colorado with the efforts that we're doing is helping to show and partner with our other states that are also doing very cool things on how we can adopt this new technology for the betterment of everybody, which is why we're really all here. That's really what we exist to do as a transportation agency.
Now, you are the chair of the board of the National Association of State Aviation Officials, otherwise known as NASAO. Right. In that position, how do you leverage this vision and this passion for these different technologies with that position with NASAO to help those other states implement the same?
I got to tell you, Sean, it's a tremendous privilege to get to lead NASAO for the 2022-23 year. There are amazing people in NASAO, and every other state is doing very cool things. And I think we're not alone here in Colorado in looking to the future of what these new technologies will do for aviation and mobility. And it's really cool to get to partner with other states and see what other people are working on. Every state is a little bit different, and I think that's what makes it really remarkable from a NASAO perspective, is taking all of those different viewpoints, all of those different areas of expertise that all of these people have within NASAO to advocate for a better aviation industry. And that's an incredible passion of mine. I know it is of my peers around the country, our peers, and I couldn't be more proud to lead NASAO for this next year and to help continue the 91-year legacy of NASAO and all the great things NASAO has done since the 1930s to promote aviation and aerospace as part of our national transportation system.
Talk a little bit more about what NASAO is, how it really brings all the states together, and how we use that organization to propel different ideas, different policies, and in different ways that we can make aviation better in the entire country, not just our states, but as a whole.
So I think, Sean, from a national perspective, it's that old cliche about strength in numbers. And I think when you take all 50 states plus the territories and you get us together to be a unified voice for what's best for aviation and airports from a state perspective, it really helps the FAA, congressional leaders, state elected officials, and all of these policymakers understand what's important about aviation and all of the little nuances that make aviation effective, from funding to policy to sustainability, all of those things that all of our counterparts around the country are really working on together, even if in little different arenas, to make aviation successful. That is what NASAO is all about, and being that unified voice for state aviation. It's been a part of our association's history for 90 plus years. It will be for the next 90, and it's really, really cool to be part of such an amazing association with such a cool aviation legacy.
That's great. Dave, thank you so much for taking the time to talk a little bit about what's going on in aviation, not only in Colorado, but as a nation as a whole. And we hope that you all tune in for future episodes of the State Aviation Journal video focus, where we're going to highlight different aviation professionals throughout the industry, including other directors across the country, about what's going on in aviation, and do it from a video perspective. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.